Hi! So today I want to read to you guys my astrological birth chart. I've always been super into astrology. That's how me and my friend Shireen bonded a lot, is like through astrology. And lately I've been watching a lot of astrology videos, and it's sort of like given me the inspiration to make this video to share with you guys my birth chart. So I'll show you what it looks like. This is it. So I was born July 18th, and these are my signs. So this is the chart. I like to use the website alabe.com. I just find it really easy to use, and it's my favorite chart to use. My favorite, no, not my favorite chart, but my favorite website to use. Let me see if I can just prop you up for a sec here. Okay. So I didn't put on any makeup yet today. I was thinking of putting on makeup, but then I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking of putting on like makeup while I was doing this video, but I don't know if I can like talk and do makeup at the same time. Like maybe I can. My room's really messy right now. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah. And then there's this other chair over here with just piles of clothing because my mom brought this other chair in here so that she could watch stuff on my computer with me. So my Cancer, sorry, I meant to say my sun sign is Cancer. I don't have Cancer, but I am Cancer zodiac sign. So Cancers are known for being homey, like they love, you know, they probably love to decorate their interior and make their space theirs, and they probably love to cook, and they probably are shy at first or reserved at first, but they're not generally, I don't think they're generally like absolutely that like they have to be introverts. I don't think that's the case. I think like as soon as they sort of like observe everything and they feel like it's safe to trust these people or whatever, then they'll be their true self, and whatever that is. I guess like your true self is kind of like your moon sign, because that's your inner self. So my moon sign is Leo. So Leos like to be the center of attention, and they like to have a lot of attention, all eyes on me, like that. My rising sign is also Leo, so I guess that's how I like to act, or I like to emulate as if I am a Leo at times. And like if the situation calls for it, I want people to think that I'm really outgoing and extroverted, which I think I am an extrovert, but sometimes I do, like on personality tests, I do get introvert, but I think most of the time I get extrovert. Yeah, so I think a lot of actors are Leo rising because they like to give off the impression that they're very like okay with being in the spotlight and that they enjoy it, and you know, like giving those poses on the red carpet or whatnot, or you know, stuff like that. That's like Leo rising. I think a lot of actors are probably Leo rising. So I'm Leo rising, Cancer sun sign, and Leo moon. So I'll read to you what it says on alabe.com. 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 So for mine, it says that rising sign is in 06 degrees Leo, It says that you love to be the center of attention. You want to appear strong, confident, and dominant. Yes, like I was telling my sister the other day that I used to really like, well, I don't like super like writing essays, but I prefer writing essays to writing like exams where you just have to answer like multiple choice questions, because in those kinds of exams you don't get to like assert your dominance, but in essays you can make an opinion and then assert that opinion over and over and basically like tell people and explain why your opinion is correct. And that's like the thing about persuasive essays, is that's what you get to do. You get to assert your opinion, you get to assert your dominance, and that's what I like doing. I like doing that more than multiple choice exams. I don't know how to study, so I can't study for exams. I never did. I always winged it when I was in university. I always winged writing my essays too, but you can like get away with that better because, you know, no one knows that you winged it unless you tell them. Like, sure, some people can plan out their essays and make it very structured and make it spend a lot of time on it, but I didn't. I just blah, 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 kind of like stream of consciousness, blah, 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 and that's why I'm right. The end. So it says, rising sign in Leo, you are very proud of yourself, sometimes quite vain even. When all around you are bedraggled and falling apart, you look like $1,000,000. Very dignified and honorable, you enjoy the power and privilege, but not the responsibilities that come with leadership. You are very idealistic, but can also be quite stubborn. Others impress you only if they have integrity, but wealth, power, and influence can also turn your head. You prefer rich, elegant surroundings and possessions, and you will try to acquire them as your budget allows. Physically, you are very impressive. At your best, you have a regal, charismatic demeanor and bearing. Try not to be such a show-off. So that's what it says for rising sign Leo. Did I do my eyebrows? I think I need to do... I sort of did them, but I mean, they're okay like this, I guess. I still have this like leftover braid from yesterday. I was shooting Open Ethnicity, the first episode, and I wanted her to put these sunflowers in my braid and braid my hair like this. So I still have it because I don't want to take it away. Like, I didn't even brush my hair today. I didn't do anything to it. It's just like a knotted, tangled mess. Because I don't want to get rid of this braid. It's so cute. I want to keep it on my hair forever. Anyway, so my sun sign is in 26 degrees Cancer. I'll just move my chair here so you can see me. They're very emotional and sensitive. It says you have an intuitive understanding of the vibes around you. You tend to be, yeah, I feel like I have really good intuition and like very good observation of people's personalities. You tend to be quite generous, giving, loving, and caring, but only when your own needs for emotional support, love, and security have been met. If they're not met, you tend to withdraw into yourself and become very insecure and selfish. Your home and family, especially your mother or the person who played that role for you early on, represent security for you, and this assumes a larger than life importance. Very sentimental, you have vivid and long enduring memories of the past. No matter how well adjusted you are, you will always need a secret, quiet place of your own in order to feel at peace. Feeding others can give you great pleasure. You would enjoy being part of a large family. Yeah, well, maybe I would. I don't have a very large family, and I guess I always sort of wanted, because a lot of Asian Americans are born in North America and they have their extended family move with their parents so that they are raised, you know, by their... This is mostly like, I feel like with Hong Kong people who are Cantonese, they have their grandparents live in the same house as them, and like they're raised partially by their grandparents and also their parents, but their parents are usually busy working, so their grandparents are the ones that are like cooking for them and stuff. But I never had that, and I guess I always felt a little empty. Plus I was raised by my mom, so I just had my mom and my younger sister. So it's a small family, and like I guess I did always kind of want, you know, more relatives to be around me, and because there's just such a, because you're connected by blood, there's such a safety net or safety feeling with when you're being cared for by your relatives. Like whenever I go back to Asia and I'm spending time with my aunt or my uncle, I always feel like they're very, like they would never do anything that's not in my best interest or not like in their opinion for my best interest. So I just feel very safe with them. Yeah. Okay, so then it says moon sign is in 27 degrees Leo. I'm sorry if I'm kind of slow at reading this. It's because my computer is kind of far away and my eyesight is deteriorating. I guess I could move my computer a little closer. My nose is like stuffy all the time, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds so like nasally. So moon signs 27 degrees Leo. You always want to be proud of yourself, and you'll never do anything that will make yourself look bad. You need the respect and admiration of others, and you enjoy attracting attention to yourself. Everything you do tends to be self-emphasized and self-exaggerated. Very stubborn, willful, and independent yourself. Be sure to allow others who are close to you the similar right to be themselves. Yeah, no, I'm not like that. Your need for love, like, I don't know. Your need for love, affection, and reassurance, and your tendency toward vanity allow you to have your head easily turned by flattery. That's true. The more insecure you are, the more you tend to be a show-off. That's true. You love games and sports. As a matter of fact, you would usually rather play than work. Be careful of a tendency to be snobbish and uppity. It does not become you. Okay, and then moving on to my Mercury. Mercury's in 4 degrees Leo. So I have a lot of Leo. I have a heavy... I think actually these are my only Leos. I don't know. I know that Cancer is my only water sign. But despite that, like, I feel like I'm not usually very emotional. I'm usually pretty, like, stoic poker face, I think. If I'm in public. Anyway, Mercury is in Leo. You are usually quite convinced that your own ideas are correct, and you enjoy persuading others that they are. At times, you're very stubborn and proud of your beliefs and principles, and you get very defensive when they're challenged. This is all true. You appreciate truth and honesty. You practice it yourself, and you expect it in others. Like, oh, I hate liars. You have good talent for organizing, directing, and planning. You delight in being asked for your advice and counsel. I don't think I have a very good talent for like organizing, directing, and planning. I mean, yeah, like, I don't really plan at all. But keep in mind that everything that it says, it's influenced by all the other signs that you have. So like the chart will give you like what Mercury in Leo means generally, but it doesn't tell you, oh, but for you personally it's affected by your Mars, by your whatever, because you have these other signs that are affecting all of them. It's not going to be like some sort of like magic chart that knows all your other signs and how they work together. It's just going to tell you the general, like, this is generally what Mercury in Leo is supposed to mean. So like, it says I have good talent for organizing, directing, and planning. I probably would if I like put my head to it, but I don't really value that at all. Like I would in the right circumstance, or if I get into that mode, I guess. And I do delight in being asked for my advice and counsel, because then I feel important and I feel like my life experience and my intelligence is validated. So yeah. Let's see. I was gonna say something else. It says, oh yeah, I appreciate truth and honesty. I practice it in myself and expect it in others. So it's like, even like tiny things, I'm like really, it used to bother me more and now it doesn't. It's snowing so much outside. Do you want to see? It's snowing a lot. Do you see that? All that white stuff? Okay. So even small things like people like following you on social media and then they like unfollow you like 3 hours later, it's just so like, okay, well, you could have just not followed me to begin with. Like, I just find it really, it's not exactly like lying, but I just find it to be kind of fake. Like, I don't do that. When I like follow someone, I never unfollow them unless they unfollow me first. Anyway, that's just like a random thing that I care about. I don't care about it, but it's just something that I notice. Okay. And it's like, you have all your right to like not follow me. It's fine. You can follow and unfollow me. That's like fine, but it's just not something that I do because I see it as like wishy-washy and untrustworthy. Okay, so Mars is in 25 degrees Gemini. So your energies get turned on quickly whenever anything interests you, but you have a very short attention span and it's difficult for you to complete tasks because something else more interesting always seems to be beckoning. Yes, like if it's a task where it has to be completed by a certain time, like a due date like 2 weeks from now, then I'm not gonna do it like right away. I'm gonna just wait until the very last second to do it. I'm gonna procrastinate it. That's just how I am, because if it's something that I don't want to do or that I'm not immediately inspired to do, then I'm not going to do it. Like, I need to feel like immediately inspired to do it. Like, if someone gives me a task and then I'm like, ugh, I really want to get this done, then I will do it like super fast and I'll complete the task super fast, because if I get it in my head that I don't want to do it later on in the day, I just want to do it like early AM when I wake up, like 8 AM, then I'm just going to do it at that time. And nothing's going to stop me. It's just like kind of like I'm pretty rigid about like what I think. But if it's like, oh, I'm going to want to procrastinate this, then I do. So it's just sort of weird. There's certain tasks, like if it was writing an essay in university, then I would just procrastinate it, and I knew beforehand that I was going to procrastinate it, so it's like, well, it's not a surprise to me and I'm going to deal with the consequences once I get to that date. But sometimes if it's like something where it's a small thing that I know I can do fast and I know that I have a busy week coming up, then I'll just do it in the morning when I first wake up, so that I can get it over with and get it done and not have to think about it anymore. Because if I don't do it, I know, because if I don't do it in the morning when I wake up, then I'll just forget about it. So, yeah. Okay, so it says, you love to debate and argue, usually in a spirit of friendly disagreement, but watch out that you do not get too overly aggressive or antagonistic, or others will be quick to take offense where none may have really been intended. You need to be in constant physical motion. Sports or daily exercise is a must for you if you are to feel fit and healthy. I don't exercise or do any sports, but I'm sure I would have loved to if I like came from like a nice rich family that would put me in like dance and soccer and whatever else. I probably would have enjoyed that, but I just never felt like my family was very secure with money, so I never really requested to be in a lot of those extracurricular activities. Okay, so it says my Jupiter is in 10 degrees Capricorn. I think this is my only earth sign on my chart. All my other signs are air, fire, or water. Well, I only have my Cancer water sign. I think that's my only water sign. So Jupiter's in 10 degrees Capricorn. It says, you tend to feel that the only results that are worthwhile are the results that are concrete and demonstrable. I agree with this, because like I feel very down on myself if I don't like have this amount of like IMDb credits or something, because it's like, to me it's not real unless it's like on my resume already and blah blah blah. You distrust abstract solutions and you appreciate measurable achievements. Yes, so, yeah. An excellent organizer and planner. Yeah, I mean, I can be an excellent organizer and planner if I want to. It says you're optimistic as well as practical and realistic about what can and what cannot happen. Very responsible. You consider it a personal weakness to be wrong about anything. This is very true, which is probably why I get really defensive if I feel like someone's trying to make me feel like I'm wrong, because that's just like not acceptable. I'm always right. This makes you appropriately cautious. So it says, very responsible, you consider it a personal weakness to be wrong about anything. This makes you appropriately cautious. You are very efficient, but you tend to be cool and detached. Saturn is in 7 degrees Aries. It says, you are aloof, independent, and standoffish. This is mainly due to your fear that others might inhibit or restrict you, and quite frankly, you feel that you can govern your life by your own standards. Be careful not to associate with those who are overly critical of you, or you will withdraw so deeply into your shell that you will become very lonely. You have the ability to stand on your own 2 feet and to make up your own mind. I'm very decisive, so yeah, this is true. Albeit very carefully and cautiously. But you are known for your circumspection, and therefore you are respected and admired. And then it says Uranus is in Aquarius, which is like you and most of your peer group as well are reformers at heart. You want to make positive changes that will benefit the society as a whole. You're willing to devote your time and energy to see that they come about, especially if the proper group support and combined purpose of will can be found. Be careful that your devotion in group goals does not produce too much friction or neglect in your own interpersonal one-on-one relationships. Yeah, I feel that very strongly. I feel like I want to be involved with the community. I want to be an activist. I want to be making myself an example for others and stuff like that. Neptune is in 26 degrees Capricorn. You and your entire generation will idealize work, practicality, and the ability to attain reasonable goals, but because you will also stress the need to be selfless and giving, you may find it hard to attain your goals unless you have lowered your expectations on all fronts. And my Pluto is in 0 degrees Sagittarius, so I'm in the Pluto Sagittarius generation. For your entire generation, society's cherished beliefs and totems will be radically changed. Many traditional concepts will be totally altered, if not completely destroyed. The rights of individuals to pursue their own course in life will be reasserted. I feel like that's very true. With people being more, hopefully, accepting of like, why did it stop recording? So like I said, it stopped, my camera stopped recording. But what I was saying is that I feel like the whole thing of the rights of individuals to pursue their own course in life being reasserted is very true, especially in regards with hopefully more people accepting the LGBTQ community and stuff. So yeah, and then it says my end node is in 10 degrees Libra. It says you find it very difficult to be comfortable being alone. You would much rather be in an environment where many people are working together toward common goals. Yeah, I guess this is true. Yeah. In general, I'm okay with being alone, but sometimes I do like to have other people in the house with me, or I'll just put on a Big Brother live stream or something, live feed in the background, so it feels like there's people around, because I don't like feeling isolated. I like knowing that there's other people doing stuff at the same time as me, and that there's people, you know, awake, brushing their teeth or whatever, and I just don't want to feel like I'm the only person on the planet or something. It says, your charming and sincere approach to others assures your popularity. You have the gift of being able to ease tensions just by your mere presence. You're the perfect team player, willing to sacrifice your own importance so that the group goal can be accomplished. I feel like this is true, like, especially if I'm helping on a set, like yesterday. Be careful, however, not to become overly dependent on your interactions with others. You do have personal private needs that should not be neglected. So that is all of my chart from alabe.com. Maybe I won't put on makeup today. Maybe I'll just leave my face like this. Okay, well, I hope this video was interesting. I might make more astrology videos, I don't know. I feel like this one's already kind of long, so I will end this one here. But I might want to talk about like the astrology charts of people I know, because I actually am very keen on this, and I look up a lot of my friends. Like, I literally know all of my friends' charts, like their entire charts. I have like them, I have all of the charts bookmarked and stuff, so I know their rising sign, their Venus, their everything. And yeah, so it might be kind of interesting to talk about, and talk about my experiences with them. Yeah, let me see. I've been looking a lot into... Oh wait, did I miss my Venus? Did I never say that? Because I've been looking at Venus signs lately. I feel like I forgot to read that one. So it says my Venus is in 16 degrees Gemini. It says you're friendly, warm, open, and tolerant toward others. You love variety in relationships. Indeed, you may even prefer to maintain more than one relationship at a time. You're very witty and humorous. You have the ability to amuse and please others. This makes you quite popular. You love to play the field, and thus you find it difficult to settle down and make any deep emotional commitments. Your innate charm and vivacity makes you welcome most everywhere you go. So yeah, I was looking at this video about Venus in Gemini, and an interesting thing I think that was sad was what was it? I wanted to say something. I don't know, but I think because Gemini is the sign where you kind of have like two personalities, and they're an air sign, and air signs are supposed to be intellectual. I think it's because I think that is one of the reasons that I kind of like look at people in my life in a more logical way, or, well, I do get attached really easily. I think that's like Cancer, but I'm very cautious, which is similar to what all the other signs have been saying, is like that I'm very cautious when it comes to making decisions. So in romantic love, I'm very like cautious, and I want that person to be all the right things. And I think in the Gemini video I saw about Venus and Gemini, it said that they want someone who's the whole package, and yeah, like maybe this is generalization, but maybe like people who have Gemini Venus find it hard to really like, unless they really get to know someone, to like know exactly how to love them or decide if they should love them, because they're very intellectual. Like Gemini is an intellectual sign, so they're always thinking about it from like a lot of like practical standpoints, and they want Like, I feel like I write people off easy, so I feel like it has to do with that. So, yeah. There's something else in the video that I found interesting, but I can't remember what it was. But her video, let me just find what her name is so I can give her proper credit. Her name is Dr. Honeytrap, the Astrology Trap House. So she makes these videos that are called Exposing Venus in Gemini. That's the one I watched. And I have a friend who's also Venus, her Venus is in Leo, so I watched that one as well. And I do like those two videos. She does like mix up some words, like she says polygamous when I think she means polyamorous. But anyway, I recommend watching those videos if you are interested in the compatibility of signs. You should pay attention to the Venus sign of whoever you're interested in romantically. So yes, that's that. I'll end this video here. It's probably super long, but I could talk about astrology forever, so